MIS's Management Information Systems. There are 3 components. How many components? 3. Perfect. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. And we've got some examples here for you to have these. This is a cash flow, as this is a cash flow. And these are the months of the year. All of the businesses we've been talking about have 2 things, have income and have expenses, which gives us profit or loss. Does that make sense? These are the months moving forward, 12 months. And in this one, first one is our tax one, which just so happens to be July to June. It always works the same way, just that we're in this particular time, yes? And so we do a tax planning year for our company with income, and let's call it, you know, we're doing 100,000 a month, and we do 120,000, 120,000, and we do 150,000, 150,000, 150,000, then we went to 160,000, 160,000, then we went to 170,000, 170, you know, like that. And then we've got these expenses, and we take one from the other, all this is car, petrol, people, whatever, and then we got this profit or loss. That's a guess for this next year, yes? And we put a thing called budget actual variance. This is my budget amount, that's what actually happened, this is the variance between those 2. Because it's just a guide. Does that make sense to everyone? As the months go by, we'll fill these into actuals. The actuals will become correct, and we'll see how we're going. What this one, number 2, is exactly the same. The only difference with this one, this is 12 months ahead, always. Always. So just imagine, because this is the only time this would happen that these match, is this month, June. Because next month is July, so these 2 would be exactly the same, wouldn't they? July 12 months ahead, because it's July next month. But let's say this month happened to be, just for the sake of it, October. If this was the month of October in any year, then my first month, 12 months ahead, must be November. Does that make sense to everybody? And the end result is October. And why is this? Because, Esther, I want to be always 12 months ahead with my... This is going to stay stable. This is my 12-month ahead plan. And what I know is the next 3 months are fairly accurate. The next 3 months are not so accurate, and the following 3 months are getting very, how are we going, you know? But as I've been doing this for years and years, I get very accurate on this. And if this month then becomes, you know, November, then this figure, this month, is now December. I'm always 12 months ahead. So the boys, you're always going to be 12 months ahead. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, why do we do this? Because we're predicting what we're going, and we've got a searchlight out to see how we're doing. Is everyone following this? As the months go by, these get filled in, and these become actual. This stays the same because this is my tax plan. I want something stable. This is my business plan, if you like, on my cash flow, on my predictive thing. And then eventually this will get into July again. It's the only time they're both the same. This always remains the same for the months. This is always moving. And as we get into a month, I then, getting closer to the end of the financial year, I'll do a brand new one. Like now I'll be doing a brand new one. This one would be out of date. And about 3 months out, I'll be getting my new one started based on all the information I've been getting. Does that make sense? Now, we've printed for you examples of this. The 2 forms. The one that is the tax one and the one that is the 12 months in advance. And the purpose of this is so just get an idea of what it looks like. And in the example we've done a couple of actuals for a few months just to show you, and we've just pretended this was, I think, August or something, you know, just to see, so that this one starts in September, you know, the one over, okay, starts in September. Just to give you an idea. And then the third thing, which is this one down here, is a list of sort of costs that I think are important in a business to notice, which are relevant to every business, and each business is different. For instance, we've got a photocopy machine that costs us about, I think it was $60,000 or $70,000. And we print things. All these manuals and stuff are all printed next door. This thing just about does everything. However, it's got a lease payment to it and it's got a residual, and I need to know when that is. We've also got cars that the company owns, and there's a payout date that has to happen. So can you see these are events that are coming up that are important? There could be things, we've got some assets, like we've got a box trailer. We've got rent on different developments and things like that. We've got RP data tracking that we do, things like that. When things come up, we need to know. Now, every business is different. Things expire, whether it's a lease of something, your own rental for your own business. When is it due? When is there going to be an increase? There's what I call critical important things, because they're going to put the rent up on you. And you capture this as you go into those transactions. So I call it, for want of a better word, important data about this. All right? And, like in Esther's case, her royalties paid every month on the 4th day or something, or she pays the incentive payment on the 15th of each month, or she'll, there's certain things that she would need to start getting organised with. Does this all make sense to everyone? That's all I really want to do with MIS, but that's how I run businesses, and that's what I use, and that's how I can look at my businesses in 90 seconds. Let's go. Yep. And I make another trick. Who notices when you get a cash flow like this, and they put all the things, wages or cost of goods, telephone, things like that, and they put the total down the end. Have you noticed that? And then you can't work out what that was trying to get it across there. Have you noticed that? It's really interesting, and you forget which one you're looking at, particularly when you see something's going a bit, wow, that's high. Why is it so high? What was that? Was it that? So I get all mine done with my total here. I just get that transferred to there. So I'm looking at the thing and I get the total. And that's why I do it. I just ask the accountant to do it. Sure, we can do that. Stops me going all the way over here to find a total. Magic, isn't it? Particularly when you've got an 11-inch screen or a 13-inch screen, not a 17 or 28-inch screen. You can't even fit it on. So I just look at those things and then I go across. Make sense? So that's what that is there. That's the total instead of over there. Now you can do whatever you want, whatever you like, but this is the numbers. The numbers are on the business. So you're going to get one of these just to have a play, and the hares will have lost it by the time they get on the plane. However, remember, we make an appointment with someone who's going to do this for you and say, this is what I'd like. That's what you do. Just give them that. They'll figure it out. And I want it. In my case, I get mine on the 7th day of every month. They deliver it to me. All added up, done, Wayne. In some cases, I've said the 10th day, if they've got something very special to know. Things like, another one too is, like if you have a BAS bill, your BAS statements must be due. So that's a reminder to keep you because you're responsible. Any questions, contribution, observation? Yes, microphone down here, thanks.
Just on that last one, the plant and machinery, and
yep.
You talk about rent, and does that include rates and where do we draw the line
you
there?
Don't. You draw the line which you think is relevant. Like, for instance, rates to me aren't important because they're done quarterly and they'll be on your cash flow.
Yeah.
It's an event that changes things, or something that I think or you think is important. For instance, I like to keep a track of, we pay out $1 million, in our organisation. Now, in that, there's probably, in fact, I think it's $1 million we pay out in one of our companies for our team, in commissions and stuff like that. Or something, maybe it's 900,000, something in that order. You think that's an important number? And there are in a company, in a current company I know, we pay out between 46,000 and 50,000 a month to contractors. That's an important number for me. In fact, I know the number, that's why it's important. But I don't want to know my rates so much. You know, that's a standard fee. I only want to worry. I would like to know if it changes. But if you said to me, do you know your car that you got on lease in 2012, in December the 16th, will be up, and the residual is 30%, and it's 15 grand. Yep, I'd like to know that. Because I've got to come up with 15,000, or I've got to refinance that. Okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Good, good.